And we are live. Welcome to episode number 10 of Knowledge Without College with OG Wade. I am Justin, the producer, leading you off along with OG Wade. What's up, OG?
What's up, Justin? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you too.
See you down there at Clearwater. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Representing for the show.
That's right. Representing for the show, representing for Philly. Very exciting to be here and nice weather, obviously. 75 degrees outside.
Wow. I'm jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, so free agency rumors are starting to kick up. Saquon Barkley is one of the rumors reported today, and Saquon could be a signing for us. Could be a
Yeah.
good signing for us, as this could be this could be good. I mean, he is from Pennsylvania, from Eastern PA, so maybe he wants to come home and play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm sure he does. When I seen Saquon, and I talked about this on WIP today, but when I seen Saquon at the Devonta Smith's celebrity baseball tournament,
Mm-hmm.
um, they and just looking how they were vibing and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and how he was blending in with the rest of the Eagle players and stuff, you could tell he wanted to come home and play with the Eagles, man. You knew, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that had the Giants not tagged him last year, he would have been an Eagle.
I think so too. I think he would have had a better chance than Swift to be an Eagle because Swift
Hmm.
was traded for in the draft. So after the Giants tagged him, I mean he obviously stayed with the Giants, but now I think he's going to come back to Philly. He's going to come home and possibly be an Eagle. So would it be how much would the deal be? How much would the deal be that you want to like 2 years,
Um,
25 mil?
no, that's a little rich for my blood. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it respectful. I would do like a 2 year deal, giving him like maybe 8.5 a year. 8.5. You know what I mean? A year. That's the ballpark that I would be in. Like
Hmm.
and even what they were saying, rumors were saying that Swift was getting offers from the Commanders. At 2 years for 18 mil. You know what I'm saying? That would I would do something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would keep it under 10. I'm not paying no running back 10 million.
Yeah, probably not the best way to go, especially with the running back market. But I think it's the Eagles being one of six teams for Saquon. There's a few running backs out there we talked about. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs being one. They're also on the free agent market. Swift also on the free agent market this year with uh, with the running backs. But for linebackers available, so the top 10 linebackers here, Blake Cashman from the Texans, or Tranquil from the Chiefs, or Jordan Hicks is also a free agent as well with the Vikings. So Jordan Hicks, another former Eagle, was with the 2017 team. Uh, how interesting would that be to have a reunion with Hicks?
No, I'm not looking for to do anything like that right now. With the state of the Eagles and where we are right now, we're not in a position where we have to go scavenger hunting. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to scrape up anything that's out there moving. First of all, there's too many options out there. We're too good of a team to have to go for something to deal, for something like that. Hicks, maybe 2 years ago, I would have loved to have him back here, but he's an older player now. Injuries then found its way to him, at his doorstep. And I think that there's so many young players out there, like a Devin White. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's some top linebackers out there that Patrick Queen that I would recommend that we get before I touch any elder states player.
Yeah, and there's some safeties too off the on the market too. The Broncos just released Justin Simmons,
Mm-hmm.
one of the safeties, and Vontae Maddox was also released by the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Which
Probably, yeah,
Go ahead, I'm
probably going
sorry.
to bring him back at a lower. deal they're saying, but I don't think I would go there just yet if they want to bring him back at a lower, like a 1 year deal, I guess, or a prove it
Yeah,
deal.
I wouldn't mind having him back on a 1 year deal. Uh, Definitely something like that would be amenable to me. But I have Isaiah Rogers taking over his spot. You know what I'm saying? That's what to me, that's what the plan should be. Justin Simmons is something one that I would be interested in. You know, I would like to bring him because I kind of wanted him in the first place. I wanted him last year. You know, I was trying to trade to get him, so I would have given up draft picks to get this guy. So Justin Simmons is definitely a something that I would be interested in doing at the safety spot.
Yeah, and he's a Vic Fangio guy as well, and Eddie Jackson as well is on the market as well. So few
Hmm.
safeties on the market too in free agency. All right, so 732-677-9970, 732-677-9970 is the number to call in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here at Knowledge Without College, as free agency rumors starting to kick up a little bit, and I'm sure next week it's really going to get going with free agency beginning on Wednesday with the league new year to start. Oh, we lost Wade. Let's see. All right, you're back. Oh, he got in.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh my. All right. So yeah, the league year begins on Wednesday with the new year for the NFL begins Wednesday with the free agency marks obviously beginning for the Eagles and for the rest of the team. But but yeah, what do you think is the biggest move that's going to happen in free agency, not just for the Eagles but for the rest of the league?
Uh, there's a lot, man. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot going on. I'm excited for us, to be honest with you. You know,
Hmm.
I kind of, you know, I love football so much, but I kind of like, I don't really pay attention, not pay attention because I pay attention to everything. But when I'm in the mood that I'm into right now, where I feel that we're right on the cuffs of doing something, you know, I'm not only want to talk about Super Bowl, but I'm talking about being establishing our continuance of being a good team. We are so close, and Howie's done so much good work that we're really set up perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not in dire straits. Last year was a bad year in terms of I thought we got hit with injuries and then with some immature stuff going on in the locker room. So I think that by and large that we should learn a lot from that uh, fiasco. Make the right moves in this free agency in terms of getting Saquon Barkley, signing him, or Josh Jacobs, or bringing Swift back along and then signing Derrick Henry. That's how I would want that to happen: is Derrick Henry and Swift as a package, and or Saquon by himself, and then we can have Gainwell still there, and maybe draft a running back as well as Josh Jacobs, sign him, and draft a running back, something like that. I like Patrick Queen, for what we need, because I think Devin White is more of a middle linebacker than anything. But I feel like Nakobe Dean has that spot, locked, not locked up, but I think I want to see him in his proper position. So I don't want to kind of mess with that because he was drafting him in the third round was our plan, and our plan was to have him play middle linebacker. So I want to give him a full opportunity to win that position, and without tampering with that, and bring in maybe someone like Patrick Queen, and then drafting a linebacker. I definitely would love to see us draft a number 3 receiver, like Worley. I don't know if he'll be there, later in the rounds, because with our first round pick, I would like to see us draft an offensive lineman, which I'm sure Howie's going to do. And then with our 2 seconds, I would take a DN and then I would try to either take that safety, one of the safeties out of Miami, the Hurricanes, one of them
Mhm.
guys, or get me a linebacker in that with that other second pick, and then from there, you can go and clean it up with the third receiver and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking to do there.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can go, how we can go here with the draft picks, especially going with the safeties and linebackers. But I would address the back end of the defense starting in the second round, starting with the linebacker, especially linebackers and defensive linemen, obviously. So really, O line and D line is really where they're going to go in, is where Howie likes to go in the first round of the draft. That's obvious. And
Hmm.
then the rest, you then probably go defensive line in the second round, defensive end. Then you go linebacker. Then you go safety. Then you might go running back, corner, receiver number three. There's a lot of ways. Maybe even a tight end in the draft, or
No,
Alberto and Goddard, obviously, and
yeah,
Jack Stoll.
yeah, we solid at tight end. To be honest with you, I would have, because quite frankly, we didn't utilize our tight ends properly. Albert O should have gotten way more time than he got. Cal Kater, I would love to see him some more. Jack Stoll, I think we still have him under contract. And Goddard, Goddard's got to stay healthy, or he's going to be, another cap casualty. I mean, another guy that we're going to have to actually move on from because of his injury. Goddard got to be smarter. He's got to play smarter. He's got to understand that his importance to this offense, because seldomly when Goddard gets hurt, now it changes Jalen's style of play and what he can do, and we always want to criticize Jalen for not doing it, not doing that. But you got to understand, he's got guys, he's losing key offensive weapons and still managing to do his job and to conduct a good offense. It's something to that. So I think Dallas Goedert's responsibility is to take care of himself and make sure that he plays smart, because that he getting his arm broke last year, that was his fault. That was a dumbass play
Mm-hmm.
that he did. You don't do stuff like that. And you got to understand your value to your team, and you and play accordingly.
Yeah, that's definitely a thought. Why to shop Dallas Goddard? But probably, they're not going to trade Goddard, obviously, and they're not going to do. I mean, they're not going to do a lot of tight end, but really they have to start utilizing Goddard, and they have to start incorporating him into this offensive game plan starting next year. The middle of the field, we always hear about, they give up stuff in the middle of the field. Eagles defense, you know, all the down low stuff, basically 5 yard pass, 10 yard, 15 yard chunk play passes. We got to start doing that next year. We got to start
Yeah,
utilizing guys over the middle.
yeah. I think you'll see a different utilization of Dallas Goddard this year. From when I look at Kellen Moore's style of with his the schematics and his offensive schemes, I see he uses tight ends a lot. He also uses 12 personnel a lot. So he likes to have the two tight ends on the field at the same time, and he runs out of those formations as well. So I think I'm excited to see what Kellen Moore will do for this offense, and see how Jalen plays within it, within that system.
Yeah, and he also utilizes the pass catching running backs. I know Tony
Hmm.
Pollard was talked about, but I think Saquon Barkley is a much better pass catching back, more physical pass blocking back, as well as a physical, 1,000 yard rusher as
Hmm.
well. I think he's a much better signing than Pollard would have been,
Yeah, Pollard is, to me, is like having two left shoes. Pollard is so close to what Gainwell is,
or
and I would
Swift
give
even.
Gainwell the nod over him. As far as him, Swift, comparing them to, it's not even close. I
Hmm.
don't like Pollard I don't like him as a first down or a second down back. I like him as a third running back. But I don't want him on my team. I mean, I'm over the small guys. We need some bigger guys. We need guys that can pick up the blitz, that's good pass protection. Because that's what enabled Swift to be on the field as much as he could have been on the field is his blocking abilities. He lacks there. And, a lot of people want to know, well, why we ain't signing Swift and why we ain't going after him. And the reason why is that he's not the complete back that we thought he was when we brought him here.
Yeah, how many times do you think they're going to run the ball? You think it's a slight uptick in running the ball, or kind of last year, or do you think it's going to be more of an uptick with if they get Saquon Barkley, if and when?
I think running the ball, how we do it, is predicated on what the score is. If we're ahead, like if you look at last year, we were more times coming from behind in games than actually, leading in the game. So if you're coming from behind, that there alone is going to take away your opportunities to run the ball, because now you got to throw to get back in the game. And like I told you, Jalen Hurts set a NFL quarterback record last year with the most comebacks which was 6 games that he came back from being down 10 at halftime. So this year, if we run our offense properly and get started early and not have so many late starts, you see what I'm saying? I think that will help our decision in the play calling in terms of run or pass ratio.
Yeah, and a question here from my dad here, and DeAndre Swift up for free agency, resigning him, or do you sign Saquon Barkley or Austin Eckler?
I would sign Saquon. That would be my first choice because Saquon he's a good pass, blocker. He picks up the blitz well. He's more powerful, bigger running back, faster, all of that stuff. So Saquon would be my first choice. But if I can't get him, then I would definitely would like to bring Swift back.
Yeah, Swift would be a good addition to bring back. Maybe Swift and Derrick Henry, if not Saquon Barkley. That would be something else.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That would be my second choice would be bringing Swift and Derrick Henry back. I mean, it's been so long since the Eagles, man, since we had a big back. I can't
Since
wait.
Garrett Blunt.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't wait till we get back to that because I played the game, and when it gets into them third and late fourth quarters, we don't want to be tackling them big backs. Linebackers don't want to tackle these guys, D linemen, because you're already wore down throughout the game. So they, and then you start running the ball with them big backs, man. That's where you really make some hay at. So I'm hoping that Howie does it right, and I believe that he will.
Yeah, and the number to call in is 732-677-9970. 732-677-9970 is the number to call in. Do not forget to like and subscribe to Knowledge Without College with OG Wade. All the help would be great with the channel. And also, we can use a fullback. Definitely we can, but I don't, fullback position's kind of fading away a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I would say this here. That's a very good point there. I would be amenable to having someone play fullback. Actually, Jack Stoll would be good to use him in that position. I would love to see Jack Stoll there. So because you don't have to go out and get your conventional fullback, but you can actually put somebody back there every now and then to help out on a running game because. Like I said, our O-line struggled last year. That was another one of our issues that we was having. So I would love to see Kellen Moore utilize a fullback in certain instances.
Did he utilize one in Dallas?
Yes.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even with the Chargers, And I know that San Fran uses, I know Miami uses a fullback, and I know that Kansas City uses a fullback. Baltimore, a lot of the teams that that runs the ball, pretty much uses fullbacks.
Yeah, he seems to use a fullback in his offense a lot. Even even with the Chargers, he seemed to use one. So Derrick Henry, 6'3", 247. Who wants to tackle him?
Not many people. And I mean, obviously, you watch those games, guys don't want to tackle him. You know what I'm saying? So he would be a great addition to this football team if we can somehow get him. And the other thing is that with the concern of running backs being injured, like Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, for some reason the Eagles take very good care of their players. You know what I'm saying? I can very rarely remember one of our running backs getting hurt. It's been so long since that happened to us. You know, every time someone comes here, they come here with an injury history, but that don't show up when they play here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point you bring up there. So I want to ask you about the Cowboys here. So I know there's been some talk about Dak moving on from him, but that would be very interesting and probably definitely very good for us if they moved on from him. He only has 1 year left on the deal. Dallas, their chemistry, as we talked about, their chemistry is kind of, I mean, just kind of literally a zoo. That's what the tight end Dalton Schultz said here. Because I saw an article today where Dalton Schultz said on the difference between the Texans and the Cowboys, Dallas is literally just like, a zoo, basically. Like they don't have a good chemistry as the Texans have a better football chemistry than the Cowboys, obviously. And that moving on from him, who knows? With all
I can agree with him on that. It's like just a dog and pony show out there. In terms of Dak Prescott, how I look at this, and I've discussed this with my brother because he's a stinking Cowboy fan. So I'm telling him realistically, and I keep telling you this here. If you look at they said Dak Prescott's won 12 games in his last 3 years. All right. Whoa. That's not good. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So now, in his last 3 years, they said he won 12 games. My challenge to everybody in the football world, everybody out there, give me 5 teams that Dak Prescott played against that was good teams that had a winning record in those 36 games. Just give me 5. You can't. Dak Prescott does not play well enough to beat good teams. And that's been their problem. So what you're looking at is you're looking at fool's gold. So when it comes to contract time, you say Dak won 12 games in the last 3 years. Yeah, because you had you had the weakest schedules. And then maybe the schedule wasn't weak at the beginning of the season, but you ended up playing teams that was hurt by injury, like the Jets. They lost
Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
So that hurts. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the grand scheme of things, Dallas played 5 teams last year that had a winning record. Only 5. They lost 3 of them.
They
won 2 of them. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. And they got knocked out in the first round.
Right.
Got blown out too.
So if I'm Jerry Jones and I'm being, kind of iffy about if I want to get this guy this kind of money, because the money that he's looking for is like basically going to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, which he's nowhere near worth that money. I understand that the market is what it is, but I would rather start over, draft a quarterback, and see if I can get him to be better, because Dak is in his 10th year. You already know what he is. He's only won 2 playoff games.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't understand what do you want Jerry to do? I mean, I wouldn't give him no $60 million. I wouldn't re-up Dak. I'd rather trade him or let him go and just try and start over with someone else.
And he's in his last year in the deal. So is McCarthy. If they gave a losing record, Jerry will dump McCarthy before they reach 8 games, especially if Dallas say they start off 2-6, does McCarthy get fired?
McCarthy is a dead man walking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The worst thing that they could have done is kept him as their head coach, because it also affected our decision to keep Sirianni here. And I think that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie utilized the fact that they didn't want to have to start over fresh with McCarthy being, because that puts them ahead of you. If you change your head coach now, you come in, so I think they held back just because of that, But the Dallas Cowboys is a fluke. I mean, they're not a good team. They haven't been a good team in a long time. They have enough players to be a good team, enough good players to be a good team, but they're just not that good. They're overrated. They don't beat good teams, and that's a fact. That ain't my opinion or none of that. I challenge everybody, and my challenge has been open for about 2 months now. I ask people, give me 5 teams that the Dallas Cowboys beat out of those 36 wins. That should be so easy to do. Just give me 5.
Exactly, and they haven't. They're 2-3 against playoff teams, against teams that made the playoffs last year. They're 2-3. So right back to Nick Sirianni here. Even if we had a good running back, would Nick use him? All pass, and pass, basically.
Well, it's not up to Nick this year. This year, Nick will not have that autonomy to interfere with the offense. I promise you that. Okay.
Kellen Moore's offense.
Yeah. Nick is just he's the GC right now. He's just managing things. I can assure you this year Nick will not be interfering with that offense.
It's Kellen Moore's offense.
Yes, for 100%. Sure.
That's why they fired Brian Johnson. That's why they basically gave everybody. They basically brought in a new coaching staff, except for Nick Sirianni, Stoutland, Clay, just a few guys on the staff. Even Kevin Patullo as well as the passing game coordinator, still on the staff. But aside from like 3 or 4 guys, this is a new staff completely. Kellen Moore, and this is Kellen Moore's offense and Vic Fangio's defense.
Yeah, and it was needed. So we needed some change, So now we got to get these guys to hit their heads together in that locker room, because I still don't think we addressed the elephant in the room, which is AJ Brown. He's going to have to grow up, humble himself, and carry himself like a professional. And if you're going to be a captain, be a captain. Don't be one of them captains that shows up and want to be a captain when everything is going well. Because when we go through tough times, A.J. Brown don't talk to the media, which is his job. He disappears, He get his feelings hurt. He quit. I don't want to have to deal with that this year. We dealt with that crap last year. If he's going to bring that, get rid of his ass and let's move on. I'm ready to move forward now.
Yeah, do you still think there's a possibility that they trade him?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Even during the free agency period here upcoming.
Until we play that first game is when I'm gonna stand on that hill. I do believe that Howie and Jeffrey is looking for the best deal for AJ Brown, and I think that they're secretly putting it out to different teams and trying to. That's just my opinion. Yes, I do.
Yeah, so 732-677-9970 is the number to call in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Knowledge Without College with OG Wade and myself, as we'll be taking you for the next 30 minutes.
And so we right now, with the state of where we are in terms of talent, I think we are talent-wise on offense. We are as solid as you're going to get. The only thing we need right now is a running back, and we definitely. And I wouldn't even mind bringing Zacchaeus back as our third receiver, because I think that he could have had more opportunities, I think he could have been given more opportunities. So I would love to see that.
Yeah, and another question here. AJ told Ike he loves Philly. No issues with Jalen or the organization.
Well, I have a little kickback on that. I believe he said he loved being here in Philly. I didn't hear him say he didn't have no issues with Jalen. When he was asked about Jalen, he told Ike that he's not going to discuss he and Jalen's relationship on the radio. So he did not answer the question, you know. So Ike said that yesterday that he said everything was good. No, no, you can say that. That's not what I heard him say. I
Hmm.
heard him tell you or Ike, meaning Ike, I'm not going to discuss me and Jalen's relationship on the radio. So he could have easily shut that down by saying, "Man, me and Jalen don't have no issues right now." You know what I'm saying? And he even admitted that they have issues because he said, "Did we have a riff?" Yeah, he said everybody's riffing. You know what I'm saying? Had a riff this year, so he admitted to it. You know, so he didn't say him and Jalen is good. You know what I'm saying? He said that he don't want to he's not going to discuss it. You know, so that tells you something's going on there. Now, I believe Ike, in his heart of hearts, think that they're working on it behind the scenes. You know, like because we don't need to know. You know what I'm saying? That they're working their issues out. We just need it to be worked out. Correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much the thing there. And even Spike Eskin kind of, alluded to things today. He was interviewing Larry Anderson, who was covering the Phillies, obviously the color commentator, and they kind of asked him an Eagles question, saying AJ Brown hates everybody, Slay hates everybody, Jalen won't talk to the media, but that's really Jalen's, as you talk about, that's kind of Jalen's style. He doesn't need to be
Yeah,
front and center, magazine covers. I know we did a few magazine covers and
yeah.
advertisements last year, but like he doesn't need to be front and center 100% of the time, obviously.
I would say this here with Jalen's availability and stuff, and he does a lot of community stuff. He does. He's just not Howard Eskin's lap boy.
Hmm.
Howard Eskins want to be buddy with Jalen. Jalen don't dig him like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just grow up, bro. Get over it. You know what I mean? And that's all the pressure that's being put on out here, and these narratives being pushed on Jalen is coming from Howard Eskins. You know what I'm saying? He don't mess with you, bro. I mean, just move on. He talks to the media. You know, he dodges no press conferences. He's at after every game. He speaks to the media after every game. He goes to the schools. He gives back to the kids. He does all that stuff.
Very much. I mean, very much. I see him. I see him definitely do some charity stuff and even some clinics as well for
Hmm.
youth
Yes.
football leagues, obviously. And yeah, that's what and I know they said like, oh, he won't talk to the media, but he's active. I mean,
Yeah, he is.
he's just not, he's not the front and center guy that some people want him to be,
Hmm.
obviously. And yeah, I want to get to the Phillies a little bit as I am down here in Clearwater, Florida for Phillies spring training. I know WIP is here with the afternoon show, Jack and Ike. And yeah, I mean, they're definitely, I mean, the Phillies, this is a big expectations this year. Very big expectations for the Phillies. They need pitching. They definitely need to sign one of those starting pitchers. And the bullpen might need a little help on the bullpen, but I think the Phillies are going to be fine this year. They might maybe won't win the division, but the Braves they'll win the division, but they never get past the second round, get past that first round bye in the playoffs.
Well, they just won a World Series not too long ago, right?
They did, but they always run into the Phillies in the playoffs.
Okay. Well,
They
the
always
Phillies
do.
got a lot to prove too. You know what I'm
They
saying?
do.
I'm like, what do you think about Bryce's comments about they saying he's throwing his pitchers under the bus? What's your thoughts on that?
I think he tries to have a little bit too much power in the front office. I think he wants them to sign one of those pitchers, Montgomery or Blake Snell, because the agents involved, Scott Boris, is 100% involved in all the contract deals and all that stuff. But that's why they're signed. But that's why Harper, I feel like he likes to have too much power almost.
Hmm.
But throwing pitchers under the bus before the season starts, I don't think it's the best move, obviously. But
Yeah.
he wants to, he's not maybe not the LeBron James, but he likes to be the general manager. He likes to kind of play that front office role.
And I was telling I think I was talking to Joe Giglio today and Hugh Douglas,
Mhm.
is that the last I checked, Bryce Harper doesn't have a World Series ring.
He does.
So he needs to focus on his job because he didn't hit in when they needed him to hit last year. That got us, put out the damn tournament. So I think if Bryce focus on his own job and leave, Dombrowski, let him do his work.
Yeah, and Dombrowski, I think, is doing a solid job at putting the Phillies together. I mean, he brought in Castellanos and Schwarber. I know they're long ball, they're basically all or nothing hitters, but I do think Dombrowski tries. I think he definitely has a good resume coming into Philly. Obviously, he won with the Red Sox, he won with Detroit, he won with Miami. He has a very good track record as a president or general manager in the front office with those teams. And he has gotten to the World Series with the Phillies. In last year, obviously, the way they lost, but a lot of expectations are coming into this year. And for the Phillies, they got to get past the NLCS, and really they got to bring it home. They got to bring it home. They got to bring home a championship.
Yeah, because it's getting a little redundant now. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
getting there every year you're getting there, but then you choking, at the, when it's, when the lights come on. So I would love to see the Phillies play a little bit more small ball. I think they reaching for the fences, trying to hit home runs all the time. I think that hurts your team, because
Mm-hmm.
it's contagious, and all the players begin to do that, to try to do that, and it's you can't live off of home runs. You're gonna have to be able to put the ball in play, and do it that way.
Yeah, that's why they should have a guy like Turner and Stott or somebody like more of a contact hitter, Alec Boehm even
Hmm.
start them in the leadoff spot in the 1 and 2. Then you go to Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, Rio Muto. All those guys can put the ball in play and especially put the ball out of the park and drive in runs.
Yeah,
Most
Turner
importantly,
is. I thought that's what they were bringing Turner here for. I
right?
never looked at him as a home run guy.
Yeah,
Turner is
he's a
always,
leadoff guy.
yeah, he's always been able to put the ball in play. So when that's why I was a little taken aback last year when he was
Hmm.
trying to play this home run guy. I'm like, where's this coming from?
I
You
know.
paid 300 million for that. So
I know, yeah. I mean, that's why they should. I mean, that's what I was saying. I mean, lead him off. Even when he was struggling last year, just put him in the leadoff spot and put Stott or Alec Boehm in the two spot or even Castellanos. But I feel like putting Schwarber up there is a little too hefty for the lineup. And then we have the Wheeler extension, which I thought was good. I think Wheeler's solid ace, number one ace. Nola, I know, got the big bucks this offseason, but I think Zach Wheeler's 100% the number one ace
mhm.
with the Phillies.
So have you seen them? So how are they looking now?
I'd say they're looking okay. They're looking pretty good. I mean, they don't obviously play the starters for the whole 9 innings, but I think they're doing pretty well. I'd say.
Hmm. Okay. And has the young guy, what's his name? Is he the shortstop or no? He's an outfielder. What's his name?
Oh, Rojas.
Yeah. How is he looking?
Rojas is definitely. I mean, he hasn't really hit too much with runners in scoring position and hitting as well. I mean, Rojas has got to be better at the plate, obviously, and so is Brandon Marsh too. Brandon Marsh and Rojas. I mean, they're the 8 and 9 hitters, but Rojas can't be that bad. Like as bad as he was in the playoffs. I know he made
Mhm.
that one play against Atlanta, but he's got to be better.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm. Those are the improvements that I want to see. I don't, and he's got to play if he's going to be a starter. He's got to be way more effective than he was. You
He's
know,
got to, yeah.
Turner. Let's hope Turner can get off to a good start. How's he been looking so far, Turner?
I thought he's been looking okay. I thought he's put the ball in play a few times. I thought he's been good.
Okay, good, good. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do better than he's gonna have a better start than what he did last year. I mean,
Mm,
that usually happens, unfortunately. Castellanos wasn't too great his first year, and especially during the World Series run in 22, he wasn't the best hitter at the plate. But with Turner, he turned it around, and with the standing ovation, obviously, with Jack Fritz leading the charge over there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he became a hero with that, and I'll give some credit to the Philly captain as well. He's another podcaster and YouTube vlogger for the Phillies and for Philadelphia. But those guys really helped out with the Trey Turner ovation, and after that, he was a good hitter. He was a
Mm-hmm.
very good hitter, but he should be like Castellanos. First year wasn't great. Second year was just hitting doubles, hitting it out of the park, and I think that they'll that Turner and Castellanos will turn it around this year and with the lineup. So who pitches the opener? I would go with I think it's going to be Wheeler who pitches opening day. That's my guess.
Mm-hmm. Who are they playing opening day?
They're playing the Braves.
Oh my goodness, yeah, yeah. You better, yeah. You might want to start Wheeler in the first game. Because
Mhm.
that's going to be the Braves. The Braves, they don't just go away. You know what I'm saying? So they
Yeah,
typically have good regular seasons. But the
they
Phillies,
do.
I think the Phillies' goal this year should be to win the division because that's something that they need to do.
Yeah, but the one problem with the divisions, though, in baseball, like if you win the division, you get a first round bye, basically, and it's good in football, but in baseball, it's different because you're supposed to play baseball nightly and daily, basically, not just
Okay.
weekly like the NFL.
So that you saying that would like make put too much rust on them, take them out of their momentum of something. That what you're saying?
I feel like that's a problem though. I feel like that's a problem for the Braves. That's why the Braves lost to the Phillies the
Mm-hmm.
last 2 years. That's why the Dodgers, with the big offseason they had, Otani and the pitchers obviously that they brought in Yamamoto. I mean, the Dodgers haven't got to really get past that first round bye as well. I mean, they won a World Series, but that was during the whole COVID year. But the Dodgers, they were good. They were good in the regular season, but they lost to Arizona in the playoffs as well
Mm.
in the first round.
Wow.
Mm.
So, what about that? I heard the Flyers just traded for a player and gave up a first round or something.
Yeah, they did. They traded. They're definitely they do some selling at the deadline with the Flyers, but they really are trying to rebuild that team. Basically, they have 5 first round picks in the next 2 to 3 years. So that's a lot of first round picks, and you
Wow.
got that guy coming in from Russia in the next year or two.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. And then now the Sixers. My brother was telling me that he think that they should go out and sign Boogie Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins, and let him play and see if how he can help. And I'm like, I don't know about going and getting a guy off the streets that ain't played in a year, and thinking that you're going to get something significant out of them. I think that right now, I think the Sixers are staying pat. I think they're comfortable with letting Embiid just kind of rest up and get ready for next year because even though if he come back and play, he's not going to be in no basketball shape to even play in the playoff or to make a difference in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
and work if he can just go and start getting into his conditioning right now and then let that carry him over next year, he might be better. I think that he plays reckless in terms of how he takes care of his body, and just some of the stuff that I heard from Patrick Beverly saying that this guy be, be pushing himself to these limits, to try to win MVP and all that. Until he gets his mind right, and learn what the main thing is, I think Embiid is just going to be just a waste of talent, a waste of great talent,
Yeah, and that's kind of the unfortunate part with the Sixers. It feels like their window was closing. I feel like they have to start over, but are they ever going to start over with Morey? They just gave him a big extension. That's the problem here.
Yeah, I mean, I've told Ike and them this last year is that I feel like the Sixers are being ran on autopilot, because the owners are investors. They're not really guys that care about the city of Philadelphia. They're Wall Street guys. They're investors. They just care about the money. So
they bought the Commanders, so there you have it, and the Devils.
Yeah. So that's a major problem for a basketball team.
Yeah, and Kelly Oubre looks good off the bench. It seems like he's been looking good.
Man, I like him. I like him starting, and I like him coming off the bench.
He's good.
He's one of the bright spots on the team. Without other than the obvious, Maxey and Embiid, but Kelly Oubre, I didn't expect to get what they're getting out of him. So he's a surprise to me.
Yeah, and the question they were asking today on WIP about basketball. So they talked about Ben Simmons a little bit. He's out for the season, obviously. Just at this point, he's got to retire. Just hang it up already. You have the money. Just retire anyway. And with former Sixers as well, Harden in the Clippers and then Doc in Milwaukee midway through the season. So who would be the team to root for, I guess, in the finals? Like if it was Clippers versus Bucks, this would be an interesting one. Spike Eskin said the Bucks, but I think the Bucks should win, and I kind of hope they would beat Harden and the Clippers. I know Doc is the coach there, but at the same time, I mean, Harden getting a ring, like don't let him get a ring.
Yeah. To be honest with you, both of them are two inconsistent teams. They're both teams that you don't know what you're going to get on a night in and night out basis. So I don't think either one of them are going to win anything. So I damn sure don't think the Bucks are going to win, and Clippers don't even have a shot. So I don't think we're going to have to be put to that test.
Yeah, that's true. And then we got a comment here from Mr. Sandman. Josh Harris has been crying for a new arena for years that would slightly increase the value of the team. Then he can sell it for big profits. That's pretty much what we kind of alluded to here.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are investors. They don't care about the sporting teams, man, like that. They just care about the money, and it's sad that, it is that way, but we've seen it in other cities, and it makes you cringe, but yeah, the sad reality is we got a bunch of investors running our basketball team.
Yeah, that's right. Harden is having a great season, but where was the effort? What a bum. It's this comment.
Yeah. Harden went. I mean, I think it was. I don't know if it was the last game they played or the game before that. He had like 4 points or something. Like he's like inconsistent. He's like he shows up and he has some good games, but then he just disappear on you, like that.
Right. Yeah, and how about Buddy Hield too off the bench, or Buddy Hield coming in as a trade? I thought it was a good trade in the beginning. He seems to be holding his own as well.
Yeah, so far, I mean, like you're getting 13 points a night out of him. I think that number can go up, but the fact that he's scoring in double figures is pretty much a plus for me, because one of the things that I live by, I need 5 players in double figures on a night in and night out basis. That's going to give you a chance to win any game, but yeah, I can't I can't squawk at Buddy Hield's performance since he's been here. He's been consistent, so far.
Yeah, and how about with Embiid? Do you think Embiid's going to ask for a trade soon, like after the season or possibly next season? Because I feel like he has, a year or two left, like less than 2 years. I'll say that.
I wouldn't put it past him if Embiid did. I mean, because he's been kind of alluding to it, and hinting and throwing a little subliminals and all that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if Embiid requested a trade, and I would accommodate him.
Yeah, let him go. I mean, Miami. I mean, he was good with Jimmy Butler. I feel like they kind of had a good chemistry together.
Yeah.
And with Miami, I mean, they were in the finals last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just Jimmy Butler. That wasn't just, he was with a big star. I mean, that team was okay. That team was an 8 seed getting to the finals. How often does that happen?
Yeah, not often at all. But what it is, they got gritty players,
They
So
do.
when you have gritty players, and then when you give effort on the defensive side of the ball, of the court, I think that's where the Miami Heat really flourishes at, is that they give effort, good effort.
They do. And they're the number 6 seed this year. As of right now, these Sixers are the 7th seed. So they're in the play-in sweepstakes. So they're with the Pacers, the Hawks, and the Bulls as a play-in team as of right now. Because
Mm-hmm.
they lost last night to the Grizzlies 115-109. And they will play the Pelicans tomorrow night at the Wells Fargo Center. So with Embiid's trade, like 3 first rounders minimum for Embiid. How's that?
Yeah, I could see that. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that pretty much does.
Yeah, that's on par.
Yeah, and also I'm a diehard 4-for-4 fan, waiting for Embiid to make a comeback like Jordan after he retired the first time.
Yeah,
Nah,
me too.
yeah,
It's just, to me, it's
I
just such
know.
a waste of talent, man. I mean, this guy is so talented. If he gets his head right, I think he could be better. But I think it's these European players, man. I mean, these guys coming from overseas, and
Overseas.
B falls into that. He's not from here. So when you got guys that learn the game from inside of a gym, you can tell the difference in their games in the NBA. But when you got guys that have pedigree and that learned the game from outside on and just all around like that, they're different type players. So Embiid seems to me to be the guy that learned how to play the game inside of a gym. And it's always going to be a problem because they're almost like they're Play-Doh, like you manufactured this basketball player. It's not organic. He's not a fluent guy like that. And then I think with his injuries is the same as Carson Wentz, is that Embiid wasn't always that tall, so he had a growth spurt, and he has to learn how to play within that 7'2" frame. You see them, or height. You know what I'm saying? So and making that adjustment, it's mental. Because your mind's telling you you're like 6'9" and you can do this, do that, but your body is telling you something different, and that's why Embiid end up getting hurt, along with his diet, and how he takes care of his body. So, but he seems like he's going to probably end up getting it later on in his career when it's actually too late.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case here. How about Nick Nurse? What does he have to take to rally these guys? I think he was a good hire, and I do think he's a good coach. But hang on, I do think Nick Nurse is a good coach, but the problem is he's on a team that has a short window. I mean, if you're talking about a contender, I feel like he would be good with a young team that's starting over. He is good. I mean, the Raptors, I know he kind of turned that team into a contender. I mean, I know Kawhi Leonard was there, but he was good in Toronto with a young core and a young team as well. How much does he have to take to rally these guys?
I think that this year is pretty much a wash. All right.
Mhm.
Nick Nurse overall as a head coach, I like the move. I was surprised that he actually turned it around and did this, because before Embiid's injury, they were playing great basketball. I gave him a lot of credit. So I think Nick Nurse is the right coach for the city and for the team. And I think that Embiid needs to go in the off season and work on his mental, and get his head right and his body and eat right and come back ready to, go. And also listen to the trainers and listen to the coaches when they trying to limit his minutes. It seems like he's being hard-headed and he wants to keep on chasing this MVP thing, and it's what keeps getting him in trouble.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, he needs to kind of change his diet a bit and start, working out like that, like working out better, to get enough in shape for basketball. I mean, being a 7'2" center, he puts a lot of on his back with this team. He puts a lot. He scores a lot of points. He's a 3-point shooter. I mean, he doesn't play like a center. That's the other problem too. He plays more like a 3 or even a 4 in the NBA.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he just got to get it together. The talent is there, so he get his head right. There's nothing really he can't do. So that's my piece on that one.
Yeah, and Maxi as well, averaging 26 points per game. My man.
Yeah, Maxi is
He's good.
he's a good kid. It'd be nice to see. It would be nice to see him get a consistent third guy, and I think Maxi would flourish out of that. His game will come alive out of that. But they got to get somebody as a third guy that's going to be consistent. And I don't mean another star. That I've been over that. I've never been a part of having 3 stars. I don't need 3 stars. I just need 3 guys that's going to be consistently there night in and night out. That way you can build on the second guy, your bench. Like we was getting nothing from our bench, prior to Embiid getting hurt. So that was one of the concerns that I had moving forward and into the playoffs. But that, so with Buddy Hield, that should help that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and Mr. Sandman comments, if we have to trade Embiid, I would want Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and a few draft picks from the Miami Heat.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
that's
sure.
that's the deal you do right there.
If I'm trading with Miami, for sure, that's what I would do.
Yeah, and Pat Riley too. He's kind of like, he's a little, maybe, I mean, I would put him like out there with like a Howie Roseman or maybe even a Brett Veach in Kansas City of like the NBA, because he really puts those teams together in Miami. I know the big 3, but he definitely does do a good job in Miami.
Yeah, he's a superb GM.
He is.
This guy's been doing it as long as anybody can remember. So they're solid there. They're always in the hunt. They're always in the mix. So I don't have anything negative to say about the Heat.
Yeah, and Spoelstra's been there for a long time. I mean, he's been very good coach.
They just read him up. He just got a new contract.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, he definitely got a big contract. Deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that will do it for us tonight here on episode 10 on Knowledge Without College with OG Wade. I am Justin, the producer, signing off, and we will be back next Tuesday. Peace.
Peace, everybody.
All right.
That was a good one.